Good evening and welcome to Business Brief. My name is Michael Obodu. Let's check out summaries of some other business stories making the headlines today.
Government's inability to pay arrears owed independent power producers, despite assurances, has forced the producers to convene an emergency meeting tomorrow, July 27. Government indebtedness to the IPPs has risen from $2 billion to about $2.3 billion. Energy strategist and chief executive of Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, has described as a defeatist stand the notion that palm prices could have been worse without the gold for oil policy. He has, however, raised questions about the effectiveness of the program in mitigating the impact of rising fuel costs on consumers. His comments follow the Bank of Ghana's stance on not reviewing the policy, which is contrary to the IMF directive. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, increased its forecast of how much the global economy will grow this year to 3%. The 0.2% improvement in April's forecast was partly driven by increased post-pandemic travel. A strong jobs market and services sector was also included in the predicted uptake.
Thank you for staying with us, and let's bring you our first story as businesses have been urged to form strategic alliances by pooling resources and expertise to produce and supply goods that meet demand of the adjoining markets under the AFCFTA. According to a trade finance specialist at the National AFCFTA Coordination Office, Divine Kutoche, there is the need for value addition to raw materials to mitigate the risk of businesses folding up.
If AFTA is going to work, we are not going to be trading raw materials for raw materials. You are not going to be trading raw tomato to Burkina Faso. They also produce the same thing. But where you add value, and that can only be acquired when you provide them the requisite training and capacity building. One of the things that we are at this program that is happening is one of the things that we encourage, where women form groups and then try to provide a platform where they can learn together. Another relevant thing we're also looking at is partnership. In Ghana, we always have the mentality of me alone, in my corner. But we are trying to build the capacity of these ladies or these women so that they can begin to form good corporate groups or associations where they can begin to feed the market. You know, Ghana's population Ghana's market is just 30 million. We are looking at 1.3 billion market. You alone cannot supply that. There is a need for you to form some close partnerships so that when the orders come, you can be able to feed into the needs of the market. It's not just a matter of going to the market. They need to be very competitive. If not, they'll fold up.
Total mobile money transactions is tipped to exceed 1 trillion cedis this year by the end of the month. This comes after the figure reached a record 859 billion cedis in the first 6 months of 2023, based on data from the Bank of Ghana. This report has the rest of the story.
Mobile money transactions for June this year is almost double compared with 480 billion cedis recorded during the same period in 2022. The volume recorded for January this year stood at about 130 million Ghana cedis, growing steadily, with June recording almost 150 million Ghana cedis worth of transactions. The Bank of Ghana has revealed that if the trend continues, the total mobile money transactions will hit 1 trillion cedis by the end of July 2023. The impressive growth in mobile money transactions comes despite the 1% electronic transfer levy. From the data, mobile money transactions have increased since the implementation of e-levy in May 2022 at 1.5% rate. On January 11, 2023, after public uproar, the government reduced the tax rate on electronic transactions from 1.5% to 1%. Despite the growth in mobile money transactions, revenue has been well below the government's expectations as it has consistently failed to meet its target. However, the growth in mobile money transactions is a positive sign for the Ghanaian economy. It shows that people are increasingly using mobile money to pay for goods and services, which is helping to boost financial inclusion.
So let's bring you more perspective on this mobile money transaction issue, and let's take you to our screen here, where, as you can see, year on year, the figure has increased significantly. And from 2022 to 2023, you see that the figure almost literally doubled in terms of the number of the volumes of transactions that were carried out over the period. Now, look at the end of the year. For 2021, the year ended with a total transaction of about 902 billion Ghana cedis. In 2022, we ended the year at over 1 trillion cedis. But interestingly, with the figures that we are seeing for just January to June in 2023, we are at 859 million cedis. And interestingly, if you look at the year before, the month before, the figures that we've seen so far are basically about 130 million Ghana cedis on average in terms of increment. So if that figure is anything to go by, it means that by the end of the month, tentatively, we should have crossed the 1 trillion cedi mark for mobile money transactions this year, as compared to last year, where we hit that figure at the end of the year. Now, away from that, a director at the Financial Stability Department of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Joseph Franz, has cautioned banks to invest in technology in order to reduce the risk of fraud. He was speaking at the Ghana International Bank workshop for banks within the sub-region.
With most banks lacking the requisite training in risks, the Bank of Ghana says it will demand of them to include technology in their training. Director of Financial Stability Department at the Central Bank says banks which fail to comply will be sanctioned.
We continually sanction banks for infractions, violations of regulations and regs and directives and all that. So that is a common phenomenon for the Bank of Ghana with our regulated institutions. Well, once we sanction you, we put in, you make sure you put in corrective measures.
Meanwhile, Ghana country representative at GAPE said the 3-day program will focus on enterprise-wide risk assessment.
In today's banking world, you need to make sure that you properly assess the risks that you face. If you do not properly assess those risks, you can make the money, but you lose it. What this program aims to do is to equip banks so that they can properly assess risk from a financial crime risk point of view. Once that is done properly, then when you do the business and you make revenues, you are confident that you will not have to lose those revenues because of the crystallization of some kinds of risk.
Let's now turn our attention to the forex market to find out how major trading currencies are faring. So that was the currency market, and as you can see, the dollar still experiencing some relative stability. But from the currency market, let's turn our attention now to the commodity market to find out how major commodities are faring. Price of cocoa is up by 2.45%. It's trading at $3,555 per ton. The price of gold is also up by 0.45%, trading at almost $1,974 per barrel. Price of crude oil, however, remained unchanged. It's trading at $83.64. So those were updates from the commodities market. And on that note, that will be all for Business Brief here on TV3. For more business stories, please visit our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obudu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe.
We are at that time of the year, and the much anticipated trade and exhibition fair is here. It's the Western Trade Fair, the August 2023 edition. It will be massive and engaging. Companies, small and medium scale enterprises, join the fair. Let's network and grow our